Purple Wings is a nonprofit organization, and she's at the grassroots of sex trafficking. She's not getting a lot of help. She's doing this basically out of her own pocket, but Toshia has a story to tell, and it's riveting. Her story is riveting. Where she started and where she is now is phenomenal. I mean, Toshia, I have to give you a lot of kudos for what you're doing. Working mother, out there helping the girls in the community where no one else is out there. We have a lot of nonprofit organizations that are out there getting great kudos for, you know, being a nonprofit, but she's on the front line, literally day and night for these girls in our community. And I'd like to introduce the other members of the panel. I've heard two of the girls speak, and Larissa and Shelby, and they're phenomenal. They're just really great. I haven't heard Nadia, but Larissa, where's the audience? Shelby? Okay, that's Shelby Perry, Larissa Markham, Nadia Schofield. Okay, Nadia and Larissa, well, Larissa goes to Legacy High School, and Shelby and Nadia, they go to Cimarron High School, and after they speak, you're going to say, oh my goodness, high schools really are doing something good, because they really are special girls. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Toshia. She's going to start it off and talk a little bit about what she does, and then the girls are going to talk a little bit about what they do, and then we're going to open it up to questions and answers. So, Toshia.
Melody, you left your glass.
Oh. Everywhere. That's why I have five pairs myself at Walmart.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming out after a long day. I know it's been a long day for me. So anytime I get the opportunity to stand, can you guys hear me now? Anytime I get the opportunity to stand in front of people and speak out about the atrocities of human trafficking, sex trafficking, whatever you really want to call it, I will carry up. I don't care how tired I am. I will buck up and go out and do what I have to do. Like she said, I'm at the grassroots level. I have a 501c3 called Purple Wings, and the Wings, it stands for Women Inspiring Noble Girls Successfully. We've been in business since late 2010, after I did an internship at a local runaway shelter, and I saw all the young ladies that were being brought in. And I would say 90% of the girls that were being brought in were high off some substance. They were dragged in, butt booty naked, without a stitch of clothing on. And I had an 11-year-old child high off of black tar heroin. If you're anything like me, if you're a mother, because I am a mother of two, and at that time I was pregnant with my daughter. So, you know, my hormones and emotions were all over the place. I'm like, oh my God, what can we do? We have to do something about this. And so I go through the yellow pages and I'm looking, I'm turning, and I see nothing. So of course they have the Girl Scouts, but they're not selling those types of cookies, right? Right. And of course they have big brothers and big sisters. But where I come from the South. So you can hear that twang in my voice. I come from the South. And in the South, and probably extreme North, extreme East and West Coast, they have organizations for girls where they can go in a safe place, and they can have group sessions, they can do homework. It's a place they call their own. Girls and boys are significantly different, okay? Boys might have a couple of things wrong. Usually it's legal, substance abuse, or school. Something like that, or maybe parenting problems. But with a girl, you have layer upon layer upon layer, a myriad of problems. When we are working with the girl and we work through that issue, Lord have mercy, we have like 5 to 10 more to go through. So when I saw that Las Vegas didn't really have something for at-risk girls, then I said I had to start it. And why did I say that? I don't know. So anyway, I wanted to bring to your attention of what domestic minor sex trafficking is. So I'm just going to give you the brief definition, because I'm not good with definitions. I can tell you what I think it is. But human sex trafficking is the recruiting or recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for the purpose of a commercial sex act where such an act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion, or in which the person induced to perform such the act has not attained 18 years of age. Can someone tell me what the youngest age, or what is the entry age of a girl when she's introduced or seduced into sex trafficking? Anybody want to guess?
9.
9, 10.
Not 9 or 10, it's actually higher. It's 13, but I have had girls 11 years old enter into prostitution. So let's talk about Sin City's dirty little secret, shall we? Las Vegas, what happens here stays here. Come on out. Where a lot of, I'm sorry men, and I am not doping on you at all, but let me just put it out there. Where a lot of men like to come for their conventions and get down and dirty and just throw inhibition to the wind and go back home like nothing ever happened with the halo attached. Right. This is a major destination for trafficking. Back in 2011, we had 107 juvenile prostitution cases, and 61% were from Nevada. But let me just tell you about that number. No one can truly tell you the amount of people or amount of children that are involved in sex trafficking. They cannot keep count. Metro has investigated about 2,200 children exploited through sex trafficking in Las Vegas since 1994. Girls are detained for their own safety, meaning that once the Metro gets, I sit here and I find this young lady, she's involved in sex trafficking, of course not by her own will. I don't care if she did decide, oh, that's something I want to do. That's a child. She doesn't have the mental capacity to really make that decision. So guess what we're going to do? I'm going to put her and throw her in juvenile. And she's going to stay there until she talks. And guess who gets away? Does the pimp go to jail? He can make bail, can he not? So she's just sitting there while her pimp goes off free. Lack of funding for a safe house. We do not have a safe house here in Las Vegas. That's why she's detained, because we're trying to keep her safe. So in order to keep her safe, we have to lock her up. That's inhumane. We have a lack of public awareness and programs to educate our children. Honestly speaking, how many of you knew about sex trafficking before tonight? Still not enough. I want you guys to know that we had almost 40 million people travel here last year. We have almost 20,000 conventions here in this city every year. That's each year, annually, including pimps up and hoes down balls, right? We're just advertising, come here, release your inhibitions, get crazy and wild, and use our women and girls for your own liking. So Las Vegas is a hypersexualized city, okay? Girls, they can't find the good things about themselves as on their, like, you know, at their liking. Like when they go down the strip, you see the peddlers, right? You can't even take a child downtown, okay? And then you see all the pamphlets littered and loitering all over the street, correct? And how about those moving buses or those vehicles with the hot babes for a good time? And how about you have the big billboards advertising the after-hour clubs or whatever? At one point last year, and I see that they took them down, especially around the airport area, they had billboards stating, "You're a tourist? Did you lose your money? You need some money to get back home? Call 555 the toolbox." What do you think the toolbox was? Exactly. So you have escort call centers, 30 plus strip clubs, 20 plus adult stores, and 5 swinger clubs. You have your massage and reflexology businesses. And I want to know if you truly believe that somebody's going up in there getting a massage off of Sahara. I just want to know. You really, I'm not going to laugh at you or judge you, but I'm here to tell you that off of Sahara and in your own neighborhood, you have massage places. We're not talking about massage indies. We're talking about the Oriental Lucky massage places with the velvet curtains that you got to buzz on the window to get in. They're doing a little bit more than rubbing. Huh? Okay. Prostitution is illegal here in city limits, but that's the only place it's illegal. In the state of Nevada, prostitution is legal, except in the city limits because we have 400 or more thousand people living here. So who's in on all this sex trafficking? Who's in on all this prostitution that's going on here in Las Vegas? Because, okay, it's illegal, but truly is it illegal? It's an unsaid fact that as long as you don't draw attention to yourself, then it's okay. I know plenty of young ladies. In fact, I was speaking with someone and he told me that in his middle school alone, he had a group of students that he overheard talking, saying that they were excited about the convention coming this weekend. So I'm trying to figure out why a group of 12 and 13-year-old girls are talking or even know about the CES convention. Could it be because they're about to go to work? The girls that I deal with tell me, oh, well, I can go to school Monday through Friday, then after Friday, I get ready, I go to work. Go to work means they put their clothes on and they go downtown to make them some money. So again, who's in on this? The cab drivers, the hotel concierges, they turn a blind eye to it, even though it's illegal. And they will also say you're down here in Vegas, you're here and you want to have some hot times and fun. All you got to do is go down to the concierge and let him know that you want to be taken to the brothels, and he'll call up the limo, because the limo will come and get you from Pahrump to take you on down there and then drop you off the next day. So we have solicitation and pandering. Pandering is pimping. And trick roll. Anybody want to tell me what a trick roll is? Because your girls know what trick rolls are. That's going to work. Anybody, do you girls know what trick rolls are? Yep. You heard about it? It's a sad shame that none of the grown folks knew what trick rolls were, but this young lady knows what it is. What's a trick roll, sweetie?
It's basically with it's where you have a John and you go without any sexual back and forth with the trick roll.
Well, actually, it's almost correct. What she's going to do is the young lady or the woman is going to go down. She's going to go with the John. He's going to think that he's getting a sex act done. Sometimes he will get a sex act, and oftentimes, no, he's not. He's going to go she'll tell him, you need to go get clean and take a shower. And then she's going to rob him blind and leave. That's a trick roll. And do you think that man is going to actually prosecute? No, because he got to go back home and act like nothing happened. You think he'll call up, hey, Martha? Okay, I just got trick rolled. Right. Again, your young people know what's going on. So what's happening with the Vegas children? Well, we have the highest dropout rate in the nation. The second highest, I think right now we're the third. The highest teen pregnancy rate in the nation. Vegas is a national hub for sex trafficking. We have one of the highest substance abuse rates in the nation. And who are recruiting these girls? Strangers that they meet online, number one. Significant others, their boyfriends, who they think they're the boyfriends. Their peers in school. I have girls who are being pimped by boys in school. Recruiters are right there living right next to you in your nice little suburban neighborhood. You know how you get up, you get ready for work, and you go here and get in the car and barely turn to your neighbor and wave? That could be a pimp, living there with a bunch of girls in the house. Gang members, they do it oh so well. And family members, because the economy is bad. So who puts her out on the host roll? Exactly. So what about the victims? Like I said, there is no safe haven for traffic victims. Right now, legislation, and we're at a halt, we're at a standstill. So let me just talk about the laws a little bit. A bill number 67 would toughen penalties for pimps who, upon conviction, they could serve a maximum of 20 years in prison for their deeds. Guess what the maximum is now for a pimp? 4 years. 4 years. For taking a baby as young as 12 and 13 and putting her out on the street and performing sex acts for over 20 to 30 men each night. The bill would let the women sue their pimps while changing the name of the crime itself. And as for those pimps who sell children on the street, they would face life in prison with the possibility of parole not until 10 years. The bill would abolish the right of the pimp to waive preliminary hearings and immediately set trial dates. Let me tell you something about that. That's another reason why girls are still locked up in the back of juvenile. Because their pimps play games. What they do is they keep on trying to waive their preliminary hearings, and they keep delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. So that goes back into Never Never Land. Okay? So girls are sitting and waiting. And at this time, do you think a girl is going to speak up and speak out against her pimp? Who told her that if you roll on me, I'm going to kill your ass? Would you? Absolutely not. So the selling for the girl, it's gone viral. If you think that the day of the girl walking up and down the street with her little tiny tight clothes on, that's not really happening anymore, she's doing social networking, or he is. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Craigslist, and Backpage. So if you're not aware of what your children are doing online, I highly suggest you start taking a stab at it. And you demand the password, and you look and you see what your children are doing online. Because I know plenty of girls that have 2 and 3 profiles. One profile for mom and them, one profile for her friends, and the other profile for Trick. How will these children stay safe? First of all, they need to be leery of newspaper advertisements, modeling agencies, traveling agencies, employment opportunities, and babysitting services. Young girls like to babysit and earn cash, but if she finds this, I don't know, this little Craigslist newspaper advertisement or whatever, advertisement, you can babysit for me, whatever, that is employed sometimes, and those matchmaking services. The internet safety tips: don't post personal information. Do not add people you have never met to your friends list. It might look cute to have 30,000 followers, but it's not when you meet up with him and he snatches you and takes you across the border. Protect your pictures. You have to teach your young ladies to dress a little bit better than what we're saying. Just last week, I had a girl to go missing at 14. She just turned 14 December. She was posting pictures as the twerk queen or whatever. Something new. I don't know how to twerk, so I don't know. All I saw was all of this and all of this. And then she's out with somebody, 2 grown men in an abandoned house, writing all over her body. She's been recovered, but not without three lethal doses of dope in her system. So she's at the hospital right now. Don't post anything you wouldn't want your future boss to see. You got to tell your friends, young lady, that you might look cute today, little Sasha, because you got your low cut, but that stuff comes back to haunt you. You can never get rid of anything that's on the internet. It is a black hole. It is there for the rest of your life. I don't care how much you scrub and delete the stuff from your mama's computer. It is still there for life. For me, when you want to volunteer with me for Purple Wings, you want to get a job with me in my behavioral health company, the first thing I'm doing is Googling you. If I see anything pop up, you're out of here. So we have to be, we have to tell our children that this is happening. You have to bring it to their attention. So I want to tell you a little bit about how I came to helping or getting in on the front lines of sex trafficking. What's the face of sex? This is the face of sex trafficking right here. But I'm the face of sex trafficking. It happened to me. It can happen to anyone, any woman in here. Yes, they might want a younger lady like this, but I was taken about 25 years old. I'm not going to get deep into my story because that's a trick. And I'm since healed and been saved by God. But could you imagine someone with a child who served their country for 7 years in the military, deciding that she wants to go out one night, just have a little fun, pull up to a nice place, a nice establishment, one fatal mistake of me getting in my own vehicle and meeting somebody for breakfast turned into a nightmare. One whole week, I was held captive to do things I had never thought I would ever do. So if it could happen to me, and I thought I had my stuff together, surely it could happen to these young ladies. We have to do more. I'm about only one of the only black faces that stands up to tell the truth about what has happened to me. But there are so many more women that's been affected. So many other women I know whose girls are still out there somewhere. They're no longer probably even in the city. I know so many girls that met guys online on Facebook and Twitter and decided to meet up with somebody. He done snatched her and he's gone to California. Do you know how it feels to not know if you will live or die each day? Do you know how it feels to not know if your own children or your whole family will be murdered if you don't do what this sucker tells you what he's telling you to do. I'm telling you that this is real. And if you don't start speaking up and speaking out about this, we're gonna lose a lot more children. I may have told you about the hundreds of cases, but I'm telling you there are literally thousands. I can rattle off names of girls that I've lost to pimps in the street. They got a good game. It's mind control. It's the Stockholm syndrome to feel pity for this bastard who's done all this shit to them. But if you don't open up your mouth and tell your children to open up their eyes, they will lose their lives. I was lucky. I'm not lucky. I'm blessed to be standing here before you, a candidate as a doctor. I made it out, but there's so many children I'm dealing with that haven't, that are scarred for life. So I want you to, if you know people with teenage girls or young girls, I want you to talk to them. You can direct them to, you can just Google human trafficking, it'll pop up. Educate your children, your grandchildren, and your nieces, and even some of your nephews. Because we have some boys that are being trafficked. It might not be as many as the girls, but we do have boys. And no one deserves to be treated that way or hurt that way. Thank you.